art over the algorithm, yeah. Cause it's all about the art, the algorithm, yeah. It's been all about the art, way before algorithm. Smash the like and subscribe, tuned in to the podcast, the art over algorithm, ha.
Welcome, we back. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Art Over Algorithm podcast. So today, we got a very special guest. We got a producer, So just to kick it off, for those who may not know or may know, you know what I'm saying? Introduce yourself. Let them know who you is. For the people who may be hearing about you or seeing you for the first time, let them know who Marshauwn Cross is.
Marshauwn Cross, producer from Chicago, one half of Skilled Labor Production.
Okay. What is Skilled Labor Production?
Well, one half, the other half is Chris Davis. He's a producer as well.
Okay.
We Skilled Labor come about because we both are in the trades. I'm a trade carpenter. He's an electrician. So we met on the job site and we both was into production. So we created Skilled Labor Production.
So then I guess doing a bit of a rewind. So how did you get into producing? Like what pulled you towards, that side of the music? Were you an artist? Like were you a part of a clique or like what?
Well, as far as my introduction to producing, that came, I would say, one of the first people was Trap. Trap was like doing the early 90s. Trap was doing it. The whole Native Tongues, De La Soul, So I used to listen to Herb Kent to listen for samples. Because originally I started DJing. I wanted to be a DJ. And I started DJing, but I never could afford the equipment. So I used to go to a friend's house who had equipment and wait my turn to get on. But all the time I'm just sitting there learning. I don't get my chance on the equipment as much, but I sit there and, educate myself, pay attention to what they doing. So my guy Feel Good, DJ Feel Good, Chicago, Cabrini Green area. That's pretty much my neighborhood I grew up from. And it's a long story behind. I claim Cabrini Green, but I lived everywhere in Chicago. As my mother's income went up, we went up. So, but there was a neighborhood that I always had a connection to.
Okay. So when you hear the word producer, like how do you define, that and what a producer really does?
A producer is more than a beat maker. They create the song. They make it a whole song. Not just, okay, I got a nice beat, which I'm known to do, because I don't really push my music as much as I want to, or even try to take control over pushing the MC to doing things that they don't want to do. All right, you want it this way, let's have it, because it becomes more about the creative versus the financial. I want to be creative. I also want to be financial as well, but, right now ain't the time as far as to push. I just create right now, mainly.
Okay, so then I guess thinking like the origins, like and your influences, like what were some of the early sounds and like records or moments that kind of pushed you, towards like wanting to be a producer?
Well, like I mentioned before, Trap.
When you say tribe, do you mean Tribe Called Quest? Do you mean
Tribe
like
Called
Booyah
Quest.
Tribe?
Come on, it's only one tribe. It's only one tribe.
It's a lot of tribes.
Nah, it's only one
world.
tribe. Tribe Called Quest. And of course, I'm speaking about Tribe Called Quest. You know,
They
with the
right
with the
behind you
production,
too.
which is crazy, cause for a long time in my life, I always thought that Ali Shaheed Muhammad was doing them beats. And he was like one of my dopest producers. And I realized later on in life that it was Q-Tip doing the beats. And I'm like, really? You know, look, the abstract, I remember the first time I left my wallet in El Segundo, remember. But that was one of my early influences, trap, you know, that I wanted to, you know, get into production. So I started listening to like Herb Kent on Sundays. You know, growing up, Sundays was the day we clean up and get ready for Monday. And I still do that today. So Herb Kent was like somebody I listened to because I used to listen for samples. I used to always try to listen to Herb Kent because he played the old school from Sundays. On Sundays on V103, they played music from 12 o'clock. They played the gospel in the morning. At 12 o'clock, they playing they playing old school to 10 o'clock at night, 12. You know, it's going up. So dealing with Herb Kent, he started off and you got people like Herb Kent, Jim Rags, used to play the blues, you know, so I started listening to all this old school music that, you know, other than the music I grew up on, like Gap Band I grew up on, a little Enchantments I grew up on. But, you know, Herb Kent and them pushed me back to exploring music.
So
So,
can you pinpoint a specific record or like I know you
oh,
started
my
mentioning I
favorite
left my
artist
wallet
of
in El
all time is
Segundo,
Gene Chandler.
but I'm talking
Rainbow
about
69. Rainbow 69 is like on my old school as far as sampling one of my artists, but as far as on sampling like a particular record with Tribe,
but I'm saying I'm asking you like were any of these sounds that's what pushed you towards producing to whereas you was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sample this or you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I hear
yeah,
the songs, but
that's
it's like,
exactly what it was. You know, and I produced back then. Once I started doing construction, as I said, I was a trained carpenter. I started making a little money, so that's when I really started buying my hardware.
so
So I got, you know, I started buying the ASR 10 because I used to have friends in college because I went to college and I had friends wherever I went to school at. You know, I kind of linked with the hip hop crew.
so did you like come into it like were you like a musician? Were you like a listener? Like were you know, were you like doing like technical stuff? Like what?
Nah,
Like you
nah. As I
mentioned
said
like
before,
listening
I wanted
to
to DJ. I started DJing.
okay. So
So,
you
but
came into music as a DJ then.
mhm,
Okay. Yeah.
that's why I sample more so than use instruments. You know, I can use instruments because when I first my first keyboard was a Core X3. So that first keyboard couldn't sample. So that's when I was listening to a lot of Mobb Deep, you know, Havoc, shots out because Havoc nice, and you know, the RZA, Wu Tang. I was trying to, you know, I started playing a lot of that, you know.
Okay. So I guess I mean you kind of going into the next question. Cuz like I was saying, yeah, you say you came in as a DJ, but it's like you mentioned Havoc, you mentioned Tribe, but it's like what producers, you know, did you like study or were you like really like into like early on, you know what I'm saying, that kind of helped you like grasp into the craft?
Well, when I started producing, because of my limitations, basically what I was limited to on the equipment I had. And mind you, it was no software. It wasn't no Fruity Loops. It wasn't no Reason. It wasn't. It was nothing. You know, it was none of that. So you had to get a $3,000 MPC. You had to get a $3,000 ASR10. You know, you had to get those devices. So when
You kind of getting away from the question.
no, I'm
Not
not
to
getting
stop
away
your
from the
bill,
question.
but I'm trying to see what producers did you like
I'm
study.
going back to I'm trying to get into the story. The producers that I studied because of my limitations. It was producers I listened to like Premier. Premier was always Gangstar was always one of my joints. You know, Premier. Um, who would I say early producer? The RZA, of course. You know, of course I like Kanye. Kanye he nice. You know, I got my issues with way he do his stuff, but he nice.
But we kind of talking about like the origin though. Like Kanye ain't
My
come out to,
origin, my origin is Premier, the RZA, Havoc. Who else can I think back then?
Marley Marl. Like, I mean, it's like hella people who like,
Nah. Marley Marl
set the
was
foundation.
one of those nice ones, but I can't say that's who I follow on my creativity.
No, I'm not talking about your creativity. I'm just saying like who were some of the producers that you like listen to? Cause it's like, I mean, there's so much music that was out.
Well,
Like Marley Marl did most of Def Jam, so it's like if you listen
that
to Def Jam,
motherfucker dope.
I'm
That
sure
motherfucker
you
dope.
listen to Marley Marl.
He
I'm
dope
just
as
saying.
fuck.
So it's like
I'm not
just thinking
saying
of that.
but I'm like Large Professor.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Large
P.
Professor.
Like I
You
mean, it's a
know
lot of people.
that's the old school people, but you want to go to newer people.
No, I'm talking about your origin story. Like, so we talking about you and where you started from. So like Kanye
Well,
and
I
Havoc
started
came out like,
nah. It was Havoc, RZA, and Premier. Those are my three.
and them was like like 90. So you started like,
Yeah, that's when I started being able to afford an MPC, an ASR 10.
okay. So then like moving beyond that, because like I said, what was the first beat or record that you made, you know what I'm saying, where where you think that you might be on to something and you could, you know what I'm saying, you could compete with everybody else.
Well, I have a friend, Dirty Sock, who's a producer. Dirty Sock is cold as hell. We dated. My girlfriend at the time was his wife's best friend. And she's like, yeah, my guy Dirty Sock do beat. He do beats. Yeah. So I got up with one day we doing a family thing, meeting up with the woman's friend, couple stuff. Man, this dude a beast. Dirty Sock is a beast. Look, so we'll go back to the question.
You true.
Right, so I can stay on focus.
I'm saying, what was the first beat that you made?
I'm going back to that. That's why I went back to that, because Dirty Sock introduced me to this guy named Buddha the MC. He was like, hey, my guy want these hip hop tracks. He want hip hop tracks, and he looking for that sound you got.
And how long ago was this?
Man. This had to be, hold on, let me think back. Because now you got me doing math on years. So Dirty Sock, that had to be like 98.
Okay. So
98,
talking like
90,
almost
90,
it's gonna be
98,
like
99.
30 years ago.
Damn, that's 30 years ago.
Yeah. If it's finna be 2028 in 2 years, it's 28 years.
Yeah, shit. Damn.
So yeah, so was this the first beat that you ever made? The first
No,
beat that
no,
you
no,
made,
no,
you
no.
gave it
This
to
is where I was
Buddha?
getting to the point.
Or like
Oh,
what?
okay. So Dirty Sock introduced me to Buddha the MC. Buddha the MC, as I call Malcolm Farrakhan, he was like, man, I love your beats. You know, this is like a first person that I really like did beats for. You know, to be honest, you know, I was in the crew in the '90s, TSP, but mainly with TSP, I used to throw parties. I ain't really get to introduce myself to beats because I didn't, you know, Three Strike Posse, Chicago. If you old school hip hop Chicago, you know TSP. You know TSP if you old school hip hop Chicago. So I was in that crew as I represent Three Stripe. We got a project coming out too. We working on new album, new music, TSP. So, but I really back then I ain't have equipment. So, you know, either you had the money to do on studio time or you bought you something to do, you know, a little setup. Very few people had little setups. So, as far as my first thing out was Buddha the MC. Buddha been releasing stuff of mine. He's the first person I ever could say I got something released. To be honest, that's it. I've never released anything before him.
Okay. So then I guess like moving beyond that and thinking about, like your process and craft, like walk us through like, you know what I'm saying, what's your typical like creative process? Like where does a track usually start for you? Like are you coming with the sample first? Are you getting drums? Are you like having artists, tell you I want you to take the, the guy sample and flip less chill or something? Like what? Like what's your process?
Well, most definitely it's the sample first.
Okay.
Most definitely is the sample first. It's with studying producers. You know, Premier, one of my favorite. I ain't even mention him. My second favorite is Ninth Wonder. You know, Mad Lib. I got producers that's called Alchemist. To me, they super raw. They super raw. And what I'm looking for is like in my creativity, the sample is my thing because I'm not a musician. I'm gonna be honest. I can't. You give me a guitar, and if I could key it in one at a time, I could play it. But that takes forever. But if I could sample, the thing is with coming from DJing and sample, I could sample an artist's song. They won't even know it's their song. They put it in their face. They won't even know it's their song. What I'm looking for in me is a signature sound. I can hear a primo beat and never heard it before and know it's a primo beat. I can hear a Ninth Wonder beat, never heard it before and know it's a Ninth Wonder beat. Now, unless they not in a realm particularly trying to move away from so I could trick you. Cause yeah, I do it too. I can make the industry beats, the things I hear, but that ain't natural with me.
So I guess thinking about that, so like how much of your production is like intentional or pre-planned versus, just off of instinct and experimentation?
I would say the most pre-planned production beats I make is every anniversary, Valentine's Day, which I gotta make one soon, and birthday, I make a custom beat for my wife.
So are you kind of basing your
That
production off of that?
that's
Like,
hold
so do you
on.
take
Based on your question, when I make those beats for my wife, those are intentional. Other than that, everything else is based off of feeling and what I hear. I'm a verbal person. I talk a lot. You know, I can ramble. You know, I move around. I don't know. It could be a lot of stuff.
so do you
But
randomly
most definitely, when I go into my music, I'm open. I'm very open.
so would you say you experiment with some of the stuff or
Yeah, I experiment. I experiment with different sounds. I even experiment with instruments still. You know, I create with instruments, but you know, because I don't do it as much, the practice isn't there. You know, as far as being, training. You know, you want to get better at something, do it, and focus on getting better at it.
so do you, as far as like your approach, right? So do you approach beats differently depending on the artist, or do you kind of try to stay, true to your sound? You know what I'm saying? Or like what?
Both,
Okay.
both. You know, what do you want? I ask the artist, what are you looking for?
Sometimes the artists don't know what they
So
want.
so so if the artist don't know what they looking for, I want to see, cause sometimes, as a producer, I think we all have our biases in music. I think we all have our bias in music. You know, certain people things. Not saying it ain't dope, but it ain't my greatest thing. You know, it's nice for what it is in the lane, but they ain't my lane, basically. So what lane are you looking for? You know, that's important. What lane are you looking for? You know,
So are you
who?
sitting down with the artist kind of trying to decide that, or you
Yeah,
know what I'm
look,
saying?
I talk. I'll talk you out. I'll figure it out. And even if not, I'm either gonna piss you off or you're gonna be like, this motherfucker crazy. That's it. That's point blank. He need to watch his mouth. You know, either way.
So, so just thinking about like when you first started and moving up until now, like has your workflow changed since you first started producing? Obviously, with the advances in technology
Yeah,
as well,
most
but
definitely
like,
with the advances in technology. You know, I still own a lot of my equipment, the ASR10. I got like 6 MPCs, but I really don't use neither one of those. Maybe the MPC because I got a Renaissance, which I use with software every blue moon. But you know, with my first software I started with when I first moved from hardware to software was Reason. And Reason was real familiar to me because Reason creates the hardware. You know, like what I'm used to. You know, you want to, not technically an MPC, but you want an MPC, you got one. And then even now better that with technology, you want an MPC, you get an MPC. You know, so but my original was Reason.
yeah.
And one of the biggest things about old school production and new production was space, which companies know. They don't get big hard drives no more. You don't get nothing because space is what's going. When you want to store all your stuff, they pretty much made storage for your information. You know, computers don't come with a lot of hard drive space. They want to charge you for it. Or if you get a lot of hard drive space, it's extremely. And if you're a sample based producer, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the spaces, the prices have
If you
came
do
down
video,
drastically.
nah.
You know,
If you doing video, I ain't saying the everyday dude who do profession. One of the biggest reasons why I'm not like out as much as I am, because I can be honest, my music is a hobby. Until I can get a situation where I can be able to do my job as a construction, hardcore labor, and and be able to do my job as well as do my music. Now I can create beats all day long. I do beats all day because that's my love. But to market it, the business side is the job for me.
so then, like, I guess thinking about that, like, what's something about producing that people don't realize until they actually doing it? You know, do they?
To make money from it, you got to work it.
Yeah, because it's a job.
It's a job. And right now, I'm just gonna perfecting my skill. I'm gonna be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be one of them recognized names, the producers' names I mentioned. I want to be. I want to have a signature sound. I want to be able to know when I do a beat, that's a that's a Marshauwn Cross beat. You know, he did that beat. I want to develop my own sound. I don't want to sound like other producers. I use other producers to learn how to create technical and understand on that. But now I want to be the inventor of my own.
Okay, so just thinking about that, like your sound and creative identity. So, how would you describe your sound without naming genres?
Soulful. I wouldn't say. I mean, soulful ain't a genre.
I'm just saying, describe the sound. It's
The
soulful.
the
That's it.
sound soulful kind of you could put like low. You know, it's hard to say not without the. It's when I say soulful is
It's just a genre. How do it sound? Like if I hear what I say, it's a lo-fi soulful
it could be
boom bap
lo-fi. It
beat.
can
Like
be
that's
lo-fi.
pretty much like a
It can be
description. So
lo-fi.
I'm asking
It,
you,
it
how would
can
you describe it?
it can be lo-fi. It can be. It's most definitely gonna be soulful. It could be funky. It could be boom bap. It could be, a lot of things.
So, do you think, thinking about that, do you think that, because you mentioned a signature sound where people know it's your beat, do you think that producers need a signature sound, or is adaptability more important?
I mean, that's preference. That's preference. But to me, the more iconic producers, the if you was to say the Mount Rushmore of producers in hip hop, you know, it is you have to say, you could look at it two different ways. You could look at it as who the industry saying as broad, or the art, because it is two sides about the business and the art. It is two sides, and I learned that as a producer.
Yeah.
I'm not the best businessman, but I'll kick you in your fucking chest if you trying to fuck me in a heartbeat.
Yeah, what I mean, that's different, but like I said, like kind of just thinking about having a signature sound, would it be safe to say that, you know, it's kind
I
of a
think
little
I
bit of
think
both? Because
it's about what's your motivation. Me, I want to preserve the art.
to me, I think it's not even about you or us as the producer. It's about the artist and the song, you know, and if the song, you know, if people like it, that's really more of what it is. And
That
when I talk
that
about
depends on. That depends
the
on.
adaptability aspect of it is everything. When I went to school, they taught us to not be cookie cutter, right? And then now in
Yeah.
this day and age, you know, I don't know what they teaching, but I'm just saying, like, I think they teach to be cookie
Yeah,
cutter
yeah.
in
I
school.
want to be,
So I'm just
some of the
saying,
some
like,
Prince. Prince probably is one of the most creative, like producers, and
but he like a one out of, you know.
nah. I can name a couple of
Talk
artists.
about that, like that made it and actually, you know,
Yeah,
achieved the levels that he did.
yeah.
You know,
Because
it's like I say, when I was a kid and he changed his name to a symbol, I ain't know what the fuck was
I ain't
going
no
on.
Prince.
So I'm just saying,
I
like,
ain't no
as a
Prince.
business, you know, him writing slave on the side of his face, like seeing all the stuff that he stood for, I'm saying, like, it ain't, you know, like to go to Nas and be like, oh, you want to do a song with me? Do you own your masters? I'm just saying, like, he was somebody, he was one of none. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
because Prince been around for a long time. See, Prince got a taste of that music
But it's the
industry
music
early.
business.
He
You
got
know?
he got a taste of that music industry early. Like and think about hip hop was
I mean, Prince
scooching
was also
in
in the
when
film side of it too. Like, don't forget that
what.
he wrote, you know, the movie
Oh yeah,
Graffiti
yo, come
Bridge and
on,
Purple.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I'm just
yeah,
saying, like,
under the
so.
cherry moon.
But I'm saying he understood a lot of stuff that most people don't even take advantage of right now. That's
Cause
what
you
I'm
know
saying.
what, and it's something even you and my boy tell me, dude, get paid for your art, cause people would take advantage of your art and not credit you for what you basically are doing.
You got 35 years till you could get your what Isaac Hayes third say, like you could file a copyright or master some type of termination. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's what happened. That's how like De La got their stuff back. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, a lot of that stuff is more dealing with the business. So,
Yeah, but that's not like how it should be.
I mean that's another argument, but yeah, I mean
Nah. Here's the thing.
most
I
of the
think
people check it out. Most of the people that you sample, you know, and I'm glad we talking about this. Most of the people that you and all of us sample, they're not making the money from us, you know, like
And I would
using the
want to. I
master.
would want to give them some
I ain't
money.
talking about you wanting to give it to them. They've got into some type of deal that basically they don't
Yeah,
own the rights to their music.
yeah.
So that's what I'm talking
And
about.
that's some bullshit.
But that's very important. So why we need to have these conversations and people talk about this stuff, because it's easy to like 20, 30 years down the road be like, man, I lost all my publishing and I don't own nothing. But it's like when you own everything right now, you could basically, you know, like you could fight for it. Like you could start a publishing company, you could start a corporation or LLC, and you could basically not sign over the rights to your music so you can make money off of it. That's all I'm saying.
You know that and I understand like what you saying. That's most definitely the music is the business side of the music is most definitely important. What's wrong with your headphone?
Good.
My
Yeah,
damn.
so I mean, I feel you, but just kind of moving along.
Moving along.
Yeah, because like I said,
Cause
just thinking about, you know, the creative side of it. Like, how do you stay creative without like chasing trends, or if like say you working with artists? You know,
I
we in
listen to
Chicago.
music.
It's a lot of drill artists. Or if like say they come in and they, man, I want this song so I can go slide. Like, what's up?
I
Like,
make drill beats. just for fun.
So do you stay creative, or are you trying to, like, just satisfy that demand? Like,
Nah, I'm usually animated, so I would make a story up. Like, yeah, I'm be a gangster rap, cause it's some stuff I like. It's look, it's some drill, some trap that I'll be like, you know, I like it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it's usually the production on that, the beat. The beat that I'm feeling. It's not necessarily what they saying in
so
lyrics.
how do you stay creative without, trying to chase a trend? Like, if, oh, I like this beat that
I
Lil
listen
Durk
to
rapping
music.
off of.
I
But
listen
I'm
to
saying,
music.
like, are you like trying to chase those trends, or are you just like what? That's what I'm saying.
No,
Like, are you
I'm
listening
just
to
trying
a
to
song and
create.
trying to replicate this?
I'm just trying to create. Even the drill beats I make. If you want that's the business side. If you want to buy that, come on,
No,
let's
I
go.
ain't talking. I'm just asking the question of how do you like stay creative without, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to make a drill beat.
Like I
All drill
said,
beats sound like
like I
this. So
said, nah,
are you trying to
I
add
listen to the
your?
music. I
But
listen.
can I ask the question? Are you trying to add your spin on drill, or are you just doing like it got some wanging 808s and some fast hi hats and a crazy sample, and that's like a drill beat. Like, that's what I'm saying. Are you trying to reinvent, the
I'm
wheel, or
always
are you
trying to
just
reinvent. I'm always trying to make something mine.
yeah?
I'm
Okay.
always trying to make something mine. Like I created it on my flavor. I don't know exactly how can you say flavor or my style.
But what is your style? That's kind of what we talking about. Your sound and your creative
Shit, I don't
identity.
know
All right.
what I feel. I don't like to be boxed in.
It's not necessarily being boxed in, but like,
But
they
but but
gon'
but
they gon' box they gon'
if you
box you
were to
in
box
either
me
or.
in, I would be a premier, a ninth wonder,
But
a
I'm
Jay
saying that's
Dilla. I
that's
would
what
be which I
but that's the point. That's what they gonna do. Regardless if you don't want to be boxed
yeah
in, they gonna be
I would
like,
be a Jay
this dude
Dilla,
sound like
possibly
Dilla or such and
I
such.
would be I would be a Jay Dilla. I would be shoot possibly on some things I could be let me see, I could be a RZA. I could be most definitely a ninth wonder. I mean, I
But we
said
talk,
ninth wonder.
but still, kind of going back to the
Kanye.
original question. Like, we were talking about your sound and creative identity.
I
So
mean,
I'm just saying that at the
I
end of
can't
the
give you a
day, they're gonna.
creative identity
I'm
other than what I feel
I'm
when I start making
I'm
music.
not asking you what's your creative identity. I just asked you like a different question. I'm just saying that's the whole theme of what we were talking about. Your sound and like your creative approach and like how you do it. So I was just saying, like, if you was to make a drill beat, are you trying to like add something to drill, or are you just using the same stuff that they doing? If you doing a trap beat, is it gonna just have some 808s and a crazy synth and like a clap and some brrr, some drums doing that? Like, that's all I'm saying. But kind of moving
Pretty
forward,
much, and
but kind of moving
I would
forward.
because I'm a sample based producer. I understand what you're saying. Because I'm a sample based producer, I probably got some weird sample that I'm trying to fuck with and put it in there. Cause
So
that's my strength.
so
And then
in your
layer
opinion,
instruments on it.
what separates a good beat from a finished song?
Theatrics.
Can you elaborate? Theatrics like what?
Most songs are loops.
You say most songs are what?
Loops. Unless you doing like
What you talking about? I'm talking about a song. Like, I ain't talking about the music. I'm talking about like, just say you got to, like I said, what separates a finished beat from a finished song? That's what I'm saying. So like, if somebody Yeah, it's a loop, but if somebody get on it and start rapping to it and it's a song and it got a chorus, a verse, like, you not listening for the loops
Well, you got to put the seasoning on it. What you going to do, drops?
But I'm asking you,
know,
what separates a finished beat? Just say you got a beat, and what makes it a song? Like, what makes it done? You know what I'm saying?
You put thought and work into it. That's pretty much. You know, the finished song you put thought and work into. Now the beat with just say if I get a beat and somebody gonna rap on it. And they put what they got on it. They put their bars, they got a little hook, you know, whatever. You know, it's certain times where you might want to drop the whole beat and let their vocals just spit, you know.
I think that's more like once you start mixing it. I'm just saying in general, like, in your opinion, what separates like a good beat from a final record, like, and
like
kind
a
of
finished beat.
My thing.
Are you talking about
I'm saying a song.
When you say a song,
a finished song.
If you get a beat, my question is,
a finished beat is not a finished song.
No,
like a beat is a beat. A song is a song. So I'm saying, like,
so
what?
Wait. Let me ask you.
Let me ask this question
so I get
one
an
more
understanding.
time.
I'm trying to get an understanding. So. When you say finished song, is you talking about with vocals and everything on it, or just
that's what a song is. A beat is a beat.
Nah, because you got a finished song.
Just saying,
you got finished song with just a beat.
Right,
you have instrumental finished song.
But it's just a beat. When I'm listening to it, I'm not putting the instrumental album on saying I'm listening to this song. I'm listening to a beat.
Why not?
Right.
Jazz artists have instrumental albums all day long.
Anyways, man, like, that's not what we talking about. We're not talking about jazz people, and we're not talking about them.
No, music is music.
I asked you a question. Can you answer the question? So, in your opinion, what separates a good beat?
It's polished. A finished song is polished other than a good beat. That's it. I'm gonna give you that because we that could be a long argument.
All right, but a record is usually something that's being mass distributed,
and that's my point. So my point
me playing a good beat on my computer and it being like on Spotify or something is kind of like, you know, I'm just saying that's a big big gap though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Look, you give me a good beat and some cold ass bars. That's a good song to me.
But it's not. Does that make it a
not all the theatrics, not all the polished shit.
I'm asking you a question. Does that make it a finished record? Because it's like,
to me it do.
Okay, so that means we have two different definitions of a finished record. Because what I'm saying, a finished record means that it's done. You're not going back to it, right?
You know, I'm listening to. You know, my first concert ever was UTFO. Fat Boys, and New Edition. So that's the thing about like at that point, there was a cold ass lyricist.
But you know, my point of what I'm saying is every song that they performed was a finished record. Nobody went out there and just let a beat play and they just stood on the stage with the microphone.
Yes.
Like,
and you know what? No. And you know what? That's part of the birth of hip hop. When people realize they start making money from it. Like if you look into Sylvia Robinson, you know Sylvia Robinson.
Been making money from it.
Sylvia Robinson was the person who put Rappers Delight out. You know that, right?
Yeah. But I'm saying they put out a finished record. And they actually worked with session musicians and all that stuff. And they went in the studio. Like, they put money. Yeah. They put money. You know, that was a record label. You know what I'm saying?
But at the same time, that ain't where hip-hop was birthed from.
I mean, but we not talking about where hip-hop was birthed. We just talking about, you know, sound and creative identity, because, you know, like, you could be born in the UK and, you know, your interpretation of hip hop may not be the same as mine. You know what I'm saying? So your interpretation may be different. But, like, just moving forward, like I said, just thinking about working with artists. You know, so you talked about working with Buddha. Uh, what do you look for when you deciding on whether to work with the artist, and are you like actively looking for artists to work with?
Yes, I am looking for artists to work with.
So what? How do you look for them? Whether you how do you when you decide on trying to work with them? What do you look for?
Look, networking, that's pretty much word of mouth. Right now, I'm not a social media type dude. I try to get into it, post some things. You know, I still, I've been working on projects, like I said, with TSP. Um, I work with Buddha the MC. So, as far as that's pretty much it. I go to work every day. My life is surrounded by being domesticated.
So if an artist like reached out to you, like that's what I'm saying. Like, is it like anything that you like looking for? That's like the weakest rapper in the world could hit you up and say, "Produce my stuff," and you what you gonna accept? Like I'm just saying, like, is it
Like
do you
it
you
depends
know?
on where he weak at. Now
It's not about. I'm just saying, like, do
it
you have
depends
anything that
on
you're
where he weak
deciding
at.
on? Like, it don't matter
I
if they
love a good
weak.
lyricist. I love a good lyricist.
Okay.
You gonna spit them bars? That's one of the things about me and Buddha the MC. He speaks about things that uplift the black community. You know, it's a reason I call him Malcolm Faircon, cause
So are
he
you like, are you any influence in some of that stuff? Like, are you kind of like providing him beats and giving him like, like a direction to take, or is he just kind of, you know what I'm saying?
well, I think we both are on the same path. You
Yeah.
know, I think musically and where we going, we're on the same path. But I work with other MCs like Big Clutch. Um, shoot, I can't. I don't even know how I ain't mentioned this. Uh, KB Gangstar.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell you go by now, nigga. Killer Bam. I don't know. But KB Gangstar is an MC that he extremely nice, extremely nice, and he's one of the ones who was in the foundation of Buddha the MC, starting to rap. They was in a group together called the Grand Dynasty.
Yeah.
So that's a whole nother story, another interview. But they was in the Grand Dynasty, and KB Gangstar, I got some stuff on him. You check him out. KB Gangstar, Killer Bam. I don't even know. Dude, put your stuff on my page when this pop up, whatever. I don't know what the hell it is, but go. But then I got Big Clutch. Big Clutch is a dude from the West Side. He pretty nice.
So how do you balance letting these artists lead while still guiding their creative direction?
Sometimes they lead, sometimes I don't. I lead. Whatever. We back and forth.
Hmm. So like we mentioned this earlier, like but like what's the producer's role when the artists kind of don't really know what they want, when they kind of just, you know what I'm saying? They kind of like being artists and they, you know.
Well, first I try to figure out what are you feeling. You know, musically, it's feeling for me. How I'm
Yeah.
feeling. If I feel good, I make a feel good beat. If I'm feeling sad, I make a sad beat. Music is emotional. It's like church.
So are you trying to convey that to artists or like,
It depends on where they at. I want to know where
yeah.
you at and go where you at. If you're not feeling anything, where are you?
Yeah.
You know, you can't get anything. any answers without asking questions.
So just thinking about that, so have you ever had to like challenge or push an artist to try to get like the best out of them when when you might have been expecting or
One of my
knew that
best
they could,
songs. One of my best songs is with Big Clutch,
yeah,
and I kind of made him change his rhyme flow.
yeah.
Let him keep his lyrics, cause his lyrics, but I made him change his rhyme flow
And did that
to fit the. And that song has probably been. I need to release it, cause I was thinking about it. That song is real nice.
so did you feel that you were able to get the best out of him?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is that something that you plan on practicing or doing like more in the future? Because as a producer and as an engineer, like that's we kind of like a coach. Like I don't know if
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
that.
yeah. I do know it's a coach, but being a coach is sometimes hard to get people to listen. You know that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want it this way, cause I sound like Beyonce. I know I sound like Beyonce, and you don't sound like Beyonce.
But you still gotta convey that, and if you're trying to keep them in the positive spirits, saying they don't sound like Beyonce is not gonna keep
Nah, I just let them
things
record it.
positive,
I just let them record
you
it,
know.
then edit it on the backside.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to like the business side, yeah, I don't know. Uh so like at what point uh did you start taking like the business side of producing seriously? Or do you take the business side of producing
Nah,
seriously?
I could be honest. Nah, I don't. I don't. Most of the people I work with are my friends.
But why is that though? That you don't take it like personal? I mean that you don't
Cause it's a
take it
job.
seriously.
Cause it's a job, and I have a job. So
But
to I
somebody
have
would
two
say it's a
jobs.
side job though,
I have two jobs. I have a family, and I have a job I work.
Well, you got three
So
jobs
so
then.
so to squeeze that in, somebody gonna be losing. And to be honest, nah, I don't want to roll the dice. I don't want to roll the dice. I got something good with my profession, and I got 3 years to then I can work on my music.
Okay, so what's something that producers should understand early about ownership, credits, or value?
I'm not gonna sit here and be like I'm the business dude, cause I'm not. I'm the type of dude rather pay somebody. So as ownership, I do know you need to get your business in order. As you were saying earlier, it's people who I sample who don't even own the music that they
Yeah,
they, they wrote and created. That's some
that's
BS.
that's dealing with credits.
That's some BS.
I mean, that's the business.
That yeah. But dude, you ain't did nothing. How you gonna get business
But
all the money off my
I think,
art?
like they
Dude,
said, once you
look,
once you turn 18, you subjected to whatever contract you enter into. I
and
mean,
I
you
agree
could
with that.
say
And I agree.
yeah,
I
but
agree. But look, I'm a firm believer of regulations. Don't sit here and let them rip us off.
but
Don't
they
don't
not
they?
regulating that type of stuff. So as I said,
I
if
no,
artists and
I'm a
produce can
firm
I
believer of
say what
they
I'm trying to
should.
say? So if artists and producers like myself are like firm advocates talking about this type of stuff, like they will probably do it. You know what I'm saying? But if obviously the people that are in their ear that are making money off of it, if they just gonna keep making money and we keep getting screwed over, how long you think we gonna keep getting screwed over until we take a stand?
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. I
You
also
know.
think on sampling. Me and you had this discussion before. I think it depends on how you sample. That you should not have to. I ain't gonna say have to pay, cause if I sample you, I'm a firm believer of you should get some. If I sample your music, you should get some. But I don't think you should take it all.
Yeah.
I don't think you should take it all. I will gladly pay you music, cause what I do with a sample, I could sample it and put it in your face. You wouldn't even know it's your song. And I will challenge any artist on that and
But
send me a song. And I will challenge you on any professional artist out that label, and I will guarantee you would not know it's your song.
that's great, but that's not how the business works. Like, it's not like, oh, you didn't know what it was. Like, if you use my
No,
song, nigga, I
cause
need
I'm
that.
using
And
tone.
you talking about you
I'm
talking that,
using
I need it
tone.
all, nigga. You ain't getting nothing.
I'm using tone.
You ain't using nothing. You ain't getting no publishing. You ain't getting nothing. You just got your name on it. I'm just
No,
telling you,
no,
that's how
no.
the
But
business be
what
going.
I'm saying is this: sampling is an instrument. I believe, I'm a firm believer. It
It
depends
is an
on how you
instrument,
use
but
it.
you
It depends
using
on how you
somebody
use it.
else's master. Like I said, R.I.P. to Steve Albini. I ain't agree with him, but like he said, it's real easy to take something that's already done and take some pieces of it and turn it into something, than to create something from nothing. I
Let me
didn't
tell
agree.
you
I
how
did.
much you
I
think. How
did.
many
Can
how
I
many
say? Can I
sound
say what I'm finna
designs?
say?
How many
I
sound
didn't agree
designs?
with what he said then, but like he was saying, it's all about ownership. You know what I'm saying? If you taking what I did and turning some, I need something from it. That's all.
My question is, how many sound designs took that?
What you mean?
They just took that and made a whole keyboard a new, put some effects on it, and made a new keyboard.
But that's how you create keyboards. Like, and you create the
No,
original
but you
sound.
sampled it from their song.
What
Why they ain't
song?
been charged?
What
Any
song?
song. I'm just saying. People take keyboards from sound
Nah, I don't know
and
what you're
sample it
talking
and
about.
create a whole new keyboard with effects on there.
I mean, that's not the same thing because you don't copyright a sound from a keyboard. You can't copyright middle C. You know what I'm saying? You can only copyright a sound recording. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or a voice recording through the US Copyright Office. You can't copyright boom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you pitch it out, it's not the same thing. That's what altering and all that stuff gets into. But kind of just going back to kind of moving on, like as far as like collaboration, like how do you protect your work while still staying open to collaborate with people? Like, I won't super get into details, but it's a big producer.
My ass
Can I
cap.
say what I'm finna say? It's a big producer in Chicago. I won't call his name out, but he definitely stole 2 beats from railroad tracks, so I won't even get into that. But yeah, and those 2 beats ended up coming out. But I'm just saying, like, how do you protect your work while still staying open to collaborating with people? Like, are you, trying to make people sign NDAs before you like what you doing?
Nothing. I don't really get beats out. I don't really get beats out. You my man, and I don't even send you beats. You be like, send me a beat. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna send it to you, and I don't.
Okay.
About the only person who I send beats to is Chris, which
Okay.
is the other half of skilled labor.
So then what mistakes do you see newer producers making over and over again?
Be honest, I can't. Shit, they doing better than we are. They came in the game better than we are. These newer producers.
I mean, so here, I'll
Look,
I'll
look,
say
look,
one
look.
thing. They're signing deals and they're not owning none of the rights to their stuff. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the business. When
I
they could
don't, I
go
don't, I
when they
don't
could
know
go
about the deal.
online, they could go online just like you can. You could go online and Google anything you don't know about and find out about it. I'm saying this is what I keep seeing new producers do over and over. I won't even talk about Lil Rod on the Diddy documentary, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, people, come on, like this stuff is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So it's like, how we in 2026 and somebody talk about, oh, they took all the rights to my music. Like, come on, man. Like, for real, that's all I'm saying. Like, you could go to legalaid.org and you could go to whatever lawyers for the creative arts in your city and get a pro bono lawyer to look at whatever contract and help you with whatever issue. So I'm just saying, it's really like no excuse. Like, if you sign a bad deal that's on you, man. Like regardless. That's all. Like I never signed
Nah,
deals. Like
I
anytime
think
I
I
got a
think
contract when I was younger, I took it to people who, who I
I
believed in and
agree.
trust, and I've never signed a
I,
contract.
I, I agree. I agree with,
So,
most definitely. You got to get, like, I be telling people, I don't know this. I'm gonna get a lawyer.
but what if your lawyer is, that's what I'm
Snap.
saying. That's like saying you gonna get an accountant. Okay, so what if your accountant like screw you? I mean, you need to know this stuff. It's really no way around it. You'd be like, oh, well, I'm cool. Like for real, I won't even get into, I paid my accountant to file my taxes for Railroad Tracks Music and Railroad Tracks Music Academy. Do you think they did it? Like, yeah, I trusted them, but I don't talk to people about this type of stuff because it's like come on, like I could get into this stuff, but this is what I went to school for. Like I didn't want to do none of this stuff, but it's like this is the stuff that held me back. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So it was like I had to do it, but I don't know. Just thinking about it, yeah, producers definitely just know your worth and yeah, don't sign nothing until you get a
I ain't
lawyer or
saying nothing.
somebody
I'm most
to
definitely
look
get
at
a lawyer.
it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be able to have a trustworthy lawyer. Don't get the lawyer that they
Nah,
give you
I
because
know
that
I know
lawyer is on
lawyers.
their payroll. But I'm
I
saying
know
everybody
lawyers.
could be bought. That's all I'm saying. Like, so if you don't have a better understanding, that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay, this guy was supposed to do my stuff and I trusted him because I trusted you. You know what I'm saying? And y'all in cahoots. So, anyways, but just thinking about Chicago and the culture, like how has Chicago influenced your approach to sound and collaboration in your work ethic?
Well, a lot of things I noticed about, being a sample based producer. I never really was into house music. You know, being from Chicago, I was a hip hopper way back in the day. Ever since Boogaloo Shrimp and Shabba-Doo came to the Olivet at the community center over by Cabrini Green. And when I seen them doing that, I think this was 83, I was turned on to hip hop. So house music wasn't a thing in my life as most people. But I realized I understand that I know my own house music, getting into hip hop and sampling. That house music and hip hop have more in common than they think. I really look, knowing from, listening to my girl Ayana Contreras, um, DJs I know in Chicago back from way back, Jesse De La Pena. Uh, it's a lot of stuff, you know. House music and hip hop have a lot in common.
So would you say that they've influenced your sound and your approach to like working?
I
Or
wouldn't say house music. I didn't discover things that could be implicated in the house scene.
I mean, if you making any type of dance type, like that's it's just always
Nah,
there.
nah, you know how house go. I'm talking about deep house. I ain't talking
Yeah,
about the juking.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like people are dancing to house music. Period.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm just saying, thinking about the Chicago side and the dance culture, to be like, oh, I'm trying to make this dance beat where people could juke and rap to. So I was just saying, like, has Chicago influenced your approach to like, approaching this stuff? Like, oh, I want to work with, a singer so I can make this one track and get her to sing on it and turn it to a house joint. But
Be,
anyways, just
be
kind of
honest,
moving.
I want to make music. I want to make music.
So do you feel that producers get enough recognition here in Chicago, or do you feel it's
I, I,
only,
I, I don't think Chicago get enough recognition on music at all.
okay. You
Period.
mean
Overall,
Chicago artists or producers or Chicago
artists,
as a whole?
producers, we had like Kanye and Common, which I love both of them, but just for them to make it, they had to go to New York. And I don't think that's fair.
But
Why can't I make it at home?
They did make it at home, but I don't know. They may not have the full support of the city behind them. You know what I'm saying?
That I can agree to that.
So it's
I
like
can agree to that.
the
Chicago is very segregated, even within their own people. I can agree to that.
I'm saying, and then the little shorties might even, say that they rock with Dirk more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, when you kind of look at it. So how do producers help shape culture without always being in the spotlight?
That's a difficult question. Because I don't think producers really do. I don't think we do.
You don't
I
think they
the
help
artists,
shape the
people
culture?
people don't know who the hell a producer is.
It's not
people,
about, but they
people
provide
don't know who the hell a producer is. They know who the artist is.
But they provide the soundtrack though. Like it don't matter if you don't know. It's like, they help and shape the culture without,
okay,
without
the only
even
way
being
I can say
hands-on.
the producers could shape the culture is the only possible way is you can't get on my beat. You get on my beat. That's the only way. Cause the producers, don't nobody give a fuck about the producer.
But I'm saying
only
the
people
producer
into
shapes
music give a fuck about producers.
The producer shapes the culture. Like regardless if you feel they do or don't. Like I'm just saying in general, the music plays a major role. You know what I'm saying?
And you know that.
But I'm saying the people, it shapes the culture regardless if the people, you know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So at the end of the day, like how do producers help shape the culture without always being in the spot? They make beats that people like. I don't know. Like they provide the musical soundtrack
Take
for
less
all
money.
the songs. No, that's not shaping the culture though. That's shaping the culture for where it's at.
I disagree because I think when you
take less money, that's shaping the culture.
Here's the thing: what I mean by take less money, you have more control over what you do when you take less money. If you take that bag, then they have control. If you take less money,
no, that's not how it
control.
works. If you take more money, you have no control.
No,
because
that's what
it's
I'm
more
saying.
hands
That's
off.
what I'm saying. If you take more money, you have no control.
Because it's more hands off, and that's going back to the business part
and
of
that's
things.
what I said. Take less money. I ain't saying go cheap.
But I'm saying how are you shaping the culture because you taking less money? Like you basically devaluing yourself.
Nah, because you have more because when you deal with the people and deal with and take the money, when you take that bag, they gonna tell you what to do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more hands off.
When you don't take that bag, you have more negotiating. You could take a bag, but not that bag. It's a difference.
But we're not talking about a bag. We talking about helping shaping the culture without being in the spotlight. That's like saying and I don't even want to super get into this because we gotta keep it going. Cause like I said, come on, man. But at the end of the day, a producer is gonna be in the spotlight because they made the beat, regardless if you know who did it or not.
I can say Ninth Wonder, people don't know. I can say Jay Dilla, and people don't ever know who they are, have a clue.
But they help shape the culture. Do you understand that? People knowing who you are and the culture are two total different things.
But
do you get that?
Them producers,
but do you get that?
Them producers don't have them bags.
But I'm not talking about a bag. I'm talking about helping shaping the culture. Right? That's what I said.
Keeping it true. I mean.
All right. Anyway, so quick hits. So hardware or software? Just need one answer. Hardware or software?
I need software.
Okay, drums first or melody first?
Melody.
Sample bass or from scratch?
Sample bass.
One plug-in or two that you can't live without?
Name one plug-in. Oh, my reasons.
If it's a plug-in or a hardware.
EQ, my reasons EQ Mastery Suite and What was the thing? 2 plugins?
No, 1 plug-in or a 2 that you can't live without. That's like if they asked you, like, if you was on a stranded island, 1 piece of gear that you would have.
Reasons.
Okay, and 1 producer that should be paid more attention to.
I think Ninth Wonder.
Okay. All right. So, in closing, so what are you focused on, like, creatively right now?
Well, like I said, I'm working on a TSP album, and I started working on my supposedly instrumental album that I'm gonna release. And it ain't gonna be supposedly. I'm gonna release this one.
Okay. So, what do you want people to understand about you as a producer after watching this interview?
I love music. I love creating it. I love the sound. I want to be original.
Okay, and then for the producers who are watching this and trying to find their footing, what's one real piece of advice that you want to leave them with?
Make work that works for you. Whatever works for you, that's what you want to make it work. Whatever works for you, whatever you feel like doing, do it.
All right, that's what's up. So yeah, is it anything that you want to lead the people with? You know what I'm saying? Words of words to you know what I'm saying? Lead with them, inspiration, and let them know where to find you at.
Well, you can find me at EMSEAN73 at Instagram, Skill Labor 2015 at on Instagram. Then you have you got Instagram, Facebook on both of those, and Marshauwn Cross, my producer name. You can find me on Facebook, but check me out. I'm gonna be posting more things coming soon.
All right, that's what's up. Well, yeah, it was a pleasure having you in here. Like I said, if you want to lead the people with any other words, but other than that, yeah, it's been real. Thanks for thanks for tuning in to the Art Over Algorithm podcast. Like I said, we here with producer Marshauwn Cross, part of Skilled Labor Productions, representing Chicago. You dig? We out.
We put the art over the algorithm, yeah. Cause it's all about the art, the algorithm, yeah. It's been all about the art, way before algorithm. Smash the like and subscribe and tune in to the podcast, the art over algorithm, ha. I put the art over the algorithm, yeah. Cause it's all about the art, the algorithm, yeah. It's been all about the art, way before algorithms. Smash the like and subscribe, you tuned in to the podcast, the art over algorithm,